Okay, it seems to be working. Hey everyone, what's up? Still pretty early, I'm waking up. But yeah. Today we are gonna try to fix this weird error I was having. So basically, you see how here, when I spin the model around, it works correctly. Like projections appear as they should. But then when I use a random color, yeah, when I use some, well, textures or random colors, I get this weird bug. I do get this bug as well if I create the color randomly. So here I get, okay wait, I'm not using the color itself, I'm using temp color that I created. There you go. That's it. It also has this weird artifact that, of course, I don't want. So let's try to fix both of these things. So first of all, I don't know which one I want to tackle. I've thought about them for a bit, but I have no clear fix. But I'm more curious about this one for now. So yeah, let's see that. Also, let's right, because it's going A, B, C, D, I guess. Color D. I wonder if that will affect it in any way. So it's having this kind of artifact. And it's so weird. Graphics programming is weird in general when you want to debug it. I'm also thinking yeah, I'm not sure. This macro is weird as well. Maybe I should make a function that creates the color. And how would that even look? So we need to return a color, create color, and then we return, we have u8r gba return. And then instead of using this here, I would use create color. And then this. Should be the same thing on here, pretty much. But instead of making a U32, it should be a color, which is about the same thing. It has this parentheses because it was a macro. It's not really necessary here. Nor are these ones, I guess. Is this necessary then? I think that's it. Okay. And we are using temp color anyway. Why am I resetting that each time? Okay, same artifact. Interesting. Hey Toza. Good morning, evening, whatever it is in your country. How's it going? Anyways, this is pretty bad. I don't think the casting is necessary even. What do you mean holy? Let's ignore this and keep it up to 55, I guess. Yeah, so still the same problem. You can't actually, it's software rasterization. Like I make one GPU call at the end of each draw, which has all the pixels that I changed. There's no real way of using CPU. Like even if you make your own drivers, it's pretty hard. Anyways, this is still buggy. I'll ignore it for now. Let's see this. I mean, it's so curious because where did I? Yeah. I should add it at the top. I should add all of this in another place. But I want to keep it simple because I think I'll remove a lot of these functions anyways. So if I do this, it's still the same thing. So we already know that this is definitely not the problem. Yeah. But what happens if we do it like this, and then in the render we SDL pixel format and then RGBA 32, yeah. Now, is there anything different? Alright. Let's keep it on RGBA like this. I'm guessing it's the same thing as this. Like, there's no 8. Oh yeah, there is. Okay, we'll test all of them. So first, let's test this. Yeah, I mean, the calculations are right. Make color. Yeah, we're not even using this. What happens if I use 888? Okay, it gets even worse. So let's say I go back to this. I should have some visual artifacts. Okay, that's fine. Also, by the way, am I getting the projection? No, I'm not. Okay, so this is even weirder now, I guess. But anyways, so I do this and this. And it's back to the same bug. It's so odd. Like here, if I go to the back, it's rendering the front, but if I go to the front, it's rendering the back. And it's a bug, but it looks kind of yeah, it does look kind of cool. I just don't wanna have it, you know. At least I'm gonna have some good visual artifacts to show in my video. Alright, so this shows backwards. Then this works well. I mean, no, this doesn't show the graphical error we were seeing at the beginning with the projection matrix or whatever it is happening. But then, what if I put B and R here? Because it was, okay. ARGB it is, right? ARGB. So how about GBR? And how about R here and B here? And at this point I'm desperate, so. Yeah. RGB. Okay, so how about we do it like this? It's A at the end, R, G, B. Okay, and just A at the start, but then R, G, B. Now it's like, let's see if that changed anything. No, it's the same thing. Okay, well, that solved none of my doubts, really. Like, if we keep it like this, it's the same thing. But then, if we do RGB 32. Okay, whatever. Graphics programming is pain. Like I'm from 2 weeks struggling to do the third rendering. Tell me about it. Graphics programming is for the masochist. All right. So if I keep the same thing as it is right now, and I just make it white, it changes nothing. So we're not doing anything weird with the matrix multiplication. Like, all we really are doing is creating the color result, getting our X and Y, getting the pixel, and out of that just grabbing the color. Like, this is literally all we're doing. I'm wondering now, what happens if I X and 255, Y 255, and then X plus Y 255 to 55. So the randomness is generated by the... Okay. So entering this changes nothing, which is good to see. And it's weird at the same time. By the way, do I even need this? Because it should overflow anyways. Yeah. Okay, so that's not the problem. But then this is. How about we remove this check? Okay, it's about the same thing and it crashes because it's trying to set some value that is not inside of the screen. We gotta optimize actually. For loop through x/y min or screen width, screen height. Or actually, how about that is what is breaking everything? Like, we're accessing pixels that are not on the screen, and since it is not bound check, we are Yeah. So we just do PV main X and then 0 on whichever is minimum. Let's compute data at once, right? Yeah. Oh, it can be. Yeah, I mean, you know, anything can be at this point. So. Screen width -1. They're doing. Yeah. And then here it's the same thing. Min y 0, max y is screen height -1. I mean, at least that's an optimization. Well, okay. The problem is it's calculating this each time, I think, so let's just do, I don't know, x limit, and then it is this, y limit, max y, yeah. It's doing -1 for each, right? Yeah. X limit, Y limit. Okay, same error. For some reason, what am I doing wrong? Like whichever of this is max, I guess maybe. I'm stupid, right? This should be the other way around. Like whichever is higher and whichever is min. What did I do? Okay. It's stuck now. Okay. I know I changed nothing, but at least now we know it's not that. Okay. Let's put a limit here of 10. I32 iterations is equal 10. That's equal 0, and then for each iterations we just plus. If iterations is equal to 10, then just abort. And in the meantime, we're gonna delogging. the x and y values. X, y. Yeah. So let's just add it here. So these are the values if we render color and if we render white. We get these values, and just to make sure, this yields the correct thing. Okay, so if we compare the values, it says x is 438 and y 223, which are both correct. And if we check the last value, it's 432, 225, 432, 225. So same thing in both, right? Which is even more worrying now, like, then why? This U32, like what happens if I make this U64? Just out of curiosity. Okay. Pretty much nothing. So, alright. How about instead we check the color? So, let's just grab the color hex. I mean, I forgot how to do this and see. Oops. Print hex value and see. Hello, concerned ape, creator of Stardew Valley. Zero. Okay, so that's the width. Zero 4x. I believe it's U32. Yeah, should be fine. And this is color, texture color, white color. White. Right. What happens there? Okay, and it prints FFFO, FFO. Actually, let's add a padding like that. This is exactly this. Whoa, 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 what am I doing? This is exactly this. 3 Fs, O, FOFO. And then here we're doing FF4A1B09. Right, so it is 4. What happens if I do 8? Okay, not much. So the colors look quite normal. In fact, nothing really weird. Okay, how about we have this, but now we do, instead of this, like actual, wait. I'm so confused. Okay. We do actual white, like that. Right? And then we use white. Right, so that's the maximum value. And when you do that, it's so fine, right? Also, getting the pixel, these values are always U and 8. It's either 0 to 255 or no. Oh, no, but it always returns that, right? Yeah, and okay, so we have that. This is the hex. Then let's print the color. You wait. And let's print it on ARGB or what's reading BGRA. Which is already weird, right? Because we have this in order. But then here it says RGBA. Why are we doing that? I mean, I remember it being another color when doing this, but I think it's because I'm reading TGA file type. I mean, it shouldn't change anything, honestly, so I'm not sure. But yeah. Right, and this is the same thing. Let's just remove this. Yeah, it outputs blue. So maybe it's some problem when reading the image. Like, do I need to pass some value? Okay, this function prioritizes correctness over speed. It is suitable for unit tests, but it is not intended for use in a game engine. Why? Like SDL get RGBA, this uses... Okay, I wonder why. Pixel? Oh. Palette. Okay. Get RGB map. Set palette colors. Create palette. Get pixel format details. Yeah, what does that return? SDL get pixel format details. Surface dot pixels, I guess. No, what is it? Pixel format. And what does this return? SDL pixel format details. Okay. SDL pixel format details. And it is a pointer. No. Isn't it a pointer? Nope. Yes. Log info. Name. Details. And then I'm guessing it's gonna be something like. Okay, format is. And I'm not interested in any of that. Read pixels. I just need to read the pixels. Okay, this is when you create a surface. Right, and we already have a surface. Yeah. I was thinking it was a texture for some reason. Destroy surface. Get surface properties. Set surface color space. Get surface color space. I'm gonna go by. See ya. Convert pixels. Right, and you give it the pixel format. It's just, I don't know. Read texture. SDL 3. Like it has to be something like this, and I need an example, please. Okay, here it is. I am working on a function that will map a texture onto a texture where both textures are created. Anyway, no one answered, so. What is this language? render texture, render preset, create texture from surface. Maybe I have to do this, right? Like maybe I'm just not supposed to use the pixels of a surface. Right, so when I init, then I create the texture. Render SDL surface, and this returns I think this is uploaded to the GPU. The pixel format of the created texture may be different from the pixel format of the surface and can be queried. I mean, that's fine. I just want the correct thing. Returns the created texture or null on failure. And what is the created texture? Width, height, and that's it. Okay, so it returns SDL texture, pointer texture, right? And then from this texture, what do I do? You can render the texture, and that's it. This is on render.h. Get texture properties, get texture size, get texture something. Get texture SDL, get texture pixel from SDL texture. Unfortunate not, you can only get pixel data from a surface. What I do in my engine is load and store the graphic and also convert it to a texture. Then I can access the data and do hardware rendering. Right, it says that they are supposed to be used GPU side. So I was correct on the assumption, but it still explains nothing. Read. Okay, nothing either. Image loaded texture type, and this is IO. But then it gives a type, a file name extension that represents this data. Okay, that's a bit more interesting. So let's say I remove the IO part. No. Typed. I wish they showed more examples, like this is not useful at all. Load TGA type SDL, like surface type SDL3. Load TGA. Maybe that's it. Load TGA. No, still the same thing. And then, like, what is even this IO stream, whatever? This operates as an opaque handle. There are several APIs to create various types of IO streams or an app that can simply supply. If you know you definitely have a TGA image, you can call this function, which will skip STL image file format detection routines. Generally, it's better to use the abstract interface. Also, there is only an... Okay, and how do I load an STL IO stream? Show me an example. Surface. Maybe it's detecting the wrong... I mean, it's definitely detecting the wrong image type, because it was returning blue on R. So... SDL load TGA. Nope. Load object. Surface load TGA image. SDL3. Okay, this is better documentation. And then this, I don't care. I don't care about textures. Image SPNG. Right. Image is TGA. I swear there's no information, like, okay. What happens if here we return our GBA? Yeah. Is this it? RGBA. But then instead of here using a TGA image, we use TGA to PNG. Because I'm pretty tired. And I have to make sure the problem is, what is the name of this project? CPU render, resources, this and this and this. Like PNG is battle tested, it can't fail. I feel like. Oh. Yep. Resources and then just boink. And then Diablo pose becomes this. Alright. Could be what I'm looking for. So first, let me see if this is working well. Yeah. I'll load PNG. Okay. So now we know this is not the problem. So let's say color is let's keep it at ARGB, but instead let's give it a value that is constant. So this is ARGB, right? If I were to give green, it should return green. Now, if I do this should return blue. Oops. Okay. And if I do this, again, it should return red, which is the case. Okay, so far so good. Let's keep this always at 255. Color U8. R color G. Also, what's up with that? Oh, because I need to do color result. Yeah. And actually, now let's keep this always at 255. Okay, I should probably read this as hex, like I am doing here, 04x. And instead of doing this, I put them all together, and here I put 255. Remove this. Okay, now we're good. Is it because I'm doing that? Okay. No sound? Is that
Okay.
true? Okay, I think this is not updated. Yeah, I have sound. Okay, I think this is not updated. Yeah, I have. What if I remove the 0? That's it. Okay. Let's do this, and I mean, it's not all next to each other like I wanted it. But yeah. Anyways, I'm already seeing something weird. It didn't say. Okay, there we go. I'm already seeing something weird, and it is that... Yeah. Okay. So, it says 14 2A 6B, but it's putting R here and G here. It's RGB, and we're using ARGB. So why are we putting R on the end? Like, shouldn't this be like this? Yeah, technically. Okay, let's see. I feel like I fixed nothing there. Yeah, I mean, I was doing calculations wrong, but I was fixing it later anyways. So it doesn't change anything. How do you go about learning something new? Do you read all the docs first, or do you jump straight and not trying the new thing yourself? So, right, it depends on the topic. You can't go straight into graphics programming without knowing some very simple math. But like, if you're gonna learn some web development framework, yeah, sure, just go straight into it. Like, I feel that advice or that mentality applies to like 90% of software development. There's just some small knowledge that you need to have in some parts, and if you don't, you will struggle until you find that stuff out by yourself. But the good thing is, if you struggle through a problem, like I am right now, I'm struggling through this thing, and I've been struggling for like the past few days, and I'm just bashing my head against the keyboard, trying to see what little value is changing my projections and whatever. This way I'm learning a lot more than following a book or a tutorial by like side by side and getting the same results after the tutorial. Like I do my own thing. I follow tutorials in other programming languages instead of them being on C, because I know that I'm gonna have to re-implement a lot of stuff by myself, and I have to get through every single detail instead of just copy and pasting. So yes, you can mostly just struggle through problems and get through it without previous knowledge, but there are some cases where you can't, and you should have at least some minimum knowledge. But even if you don't, on those cases, have that minimum knowledge, you can get pretty far. Anyways. Is this related to the normalization I'm doing to the texture? I don't get it. Because like, if I do this, and I keep this as it is, and I just use it like this, it's gonna be it's okay. Yeah, it's gonna be the other way around. But then I'm not getting this, oh, I am, never mind. But was I from the very beginning? Yeah, I was. Okay, never mind. Let's go back to TGA. Okay. What are you troubleshooting at the moment? Basically, I have this draw triangle, texture triangle function, which works fine as far as you have a normal still color that doesn't change. Like you rotate around and it's fine. But then when you add colors, the projections get fucked up, and you see that stuff starts to what's the name? You know, get distorted, and then the legs become larger and like the head becomes smaller. Like whatever is at the top is smaller, and then whatever is at the bottom becomes bigger. And that's just from changing the colors, and I cannot figure why. Like now that I'm doing this, I'm trying to check if I'm not overflowing any values, and you know, I'm not, and I'm already casting stuff to U32 anyways, so there's no way I would be. And then when I draw a point, I draw on the XY values, just the color itself. This won't change anything probably. Yeah, I got it now. I wasn't sure what the color had to do with it. Do you have your own shader too? I mean, I guess this would be my shaders. Like I have no abstraction implementation of shaders, since I'm drawing each pixel by hand. It's just really hard to debug. I'm figuring it has to do something with... Okay, I don't know. I mean, I have to read the SDL documentation, I guess. Maybe the problem is me. I'm also suffering because I'm going through SDL3 documentation, which is not updated. Or like there's just a lot of stuff that got deprecated and changed, so documentation is not the best at the moment because it's a new version. Yeah, so they create the texture RGBA SDL texture access target access streaming. Could that have to do anything with the texture access target? Does it say? Changes frequently, lockable. Changes rarely, not lockable. Textures can be used as a render target. So ours change a lot. So this shouldn't... We can remove this iteration thing. Yeah. Streaming is the right choice. And then they're using RGBA 888. Then to set the render target, set the render draw color, render clear, render rect. Right, CPU duh, yeah. I missed the first two streams. What are you doing? What are you currently doing? I'm fixing this weird part. Okay, this is a new bug I just introduced. So ignore that. Yeah. I'm fixing this projection error I'm getting. So let's keep it at RGBA, and when we create this RGBA, so this should kinda work. Oh yeah, it does. But then the background is wrong. Vape mode, yeah. don't squash it, but yeah, I should probably clip it. It's gonna look good in the video. So I missed the most interesting parts. I mean, I'm stuck on this bug, but after doing that, I will add shading, like actual shadows, and what else? I mean, I have to implement the camera, I mean the occlusion, some shader abstractions, maybe better debugging. So still a lot of stuff to go. Render frame buffer, screen width multiplied by size of U32. Render frame buffer, no. So we render the frame buffer and we update the texture. Each frame. Also, what is the clear screen? Yeah, this is because we are clear screen. Oh, right, because this should be like this. Same with this. I'm gonna shift it all towards RGB instead of ARGB. Okay, this is red and this is blue. Oh god, my hands are so cold, it's so cold. This is my city. It's 4 degrees right now, but it feels so cold. RGBA. Okay. I don't even know if they are correct. Didn't check. Okay, yeah, it is all good. A slow time, yeah. That's the main resource I use when I use it. Now set draw color, I usually use it on draw text, whatever. Also, I'm wondering why does that work in changes nothing? Oh, because I guess I changed the color already. RGBA. Okay, whatever. So that looks good. We create the texture, create the render. I already have the render, of course. Yep. They don't give any extra flags. They give RGBA. We do streaming. We do screen width by height. Yes. Then here we poll events, which doesn't really matter. And then you give the texture, set the render target. We don't really do that. Set the render target, no. What am I getting? Right, so it's some functions for doing rectangles. We just update the texture at the end and then we render the texture. And they give no and no. Render texture, no, no. Right. Now when you update texture, are you supposed to give it a list of U32? Is this the texture to update? Frame buffer texture. The SDL rect, whatever. Then pixels, which we give it. And then pitch. Can I get an example? Does exactly depends on the renderer, but for reference, close up whatever, new allocates on the heap, an array like is allocated uint32 pixel res multiplied by pixel res y. But to answer your actual question, no, you don't need to keep the pixel data alive. Right, so they just give screen res x. Right. I wonder what that value is. They, yeah, just update, give a reference to this. Okay, I guess it would be the same thing, right? Then screen res x, delete pixels. New pixels, update. Texture no pointer, pixel screen res x. And here they do RGBA static screen x multiplied by screen y. I'm doing that right? Okay, old API, but still the same. So what happens if I do this? Okay, makes sense. I mean, I don't know if it makes sense. What if we give it the render frame buffer size? Okay. Whatever. This is how I render the texture to the screen. Render clear, render copy this, and then render %. And here is how it is created. So how about we render clear each one? Like clear screen just does this. Right. If we were to clear screen before that, I wonder what would happen. Render clear. Render percent. Can I look at the error? Because I'm getting the recommendation, what? Oh. Alt names for symbol, okay. And what was it renamed to? SDL render texture. This was renamed to render texture, yeah. And maybe we have to do that. SDL render percent. Render. Like after we render the texture. I'm not sure. Yeah, so that removes the FPS because we're doing it afterwards. And it changes nothing. So at least we know. How about after all of this, we mem set we're doing this already now? Nope. We mem set frame buffer 0 and size of frame buffer. So we reset all the pixels. Alright. Not either. Are you using MinGW? Yes. MinGW. SDL update texture is slow. I found that using pixel format ARGB instead completely solved this issue. Right, I mean, this sounds like an old issue. Because this is 10 years ago. It says in the remarks section that it is a slow function that is only meant for static texture uploads. Is that true? This is fairly slow, intended for use with static textures that don't change often. If the textures just prefer to create the texture as streaming and use the lock-in functions preference below. While this function will work with streaming textures for optimization reasons, you may not get the pixels back if you lock the texture afterwards. Okay, that is interesting, but that's performance side. Oops. So for streaming textures, what do they recommend? Slow. Because I'm wondering, they recommended lock. For optimization solutions, you may not get the pixel back if you lock. Okay. So we don't care about that. SDL, lock, texture. Oh, it's like literally the same thing. I wonder if performance is gonna change drastically after this. So lock texture, it takes the texture, rect, yep. And then void pointer, what? So it needs to be on the stack. And then the last thing is pitch. Last case is pitch. Void pointer pixels. Okay, you know, I've been thinking about doing this for a while. Let's just set this to as extern. This is the depth buffer, frame buffer. And let's just keep it like that. They do void pointer. Pixels. Didn't use pixels for anything. Okay, they use uint32 array pixels, no. Then they do lock texture pixels. So they lock it? Oh, I get it now. They lock it, then they change it. And then they unlock it back again. Also, what is this for? RGBA. Okay. Let's keep this on the place where it was. We can figure it out later. Comment this out, do this. This I32. My texture. Yep. Pixels should be pixels, pitch should be pitch, and make sure that is equal to 0. Now what happened? Oh, should be a pointer, no? Yeah. I don't need that for anything. Sure, pointer. Alright, and what about this? It's because this was fine, but then this is void pointer, so we can just ignore it. I32, U32, U32, min set pixels, black. So let's do render that frame buffer texture, frame buffer, and then size of this, I'm guessing. Like this. So it's just taking this is the destination, this is the value. Okay, so I can just point to the first one. I'm not sure. Yeah, so it seems I have to store it in SDL3 format. Is there a way not to? Clear color is this. Or you can do it like this. How about just memset normally? Destination. Well, that's just for a loop. So yeah, we're not doing it manually. I think this X and that should be Y. Zero. Screen width X plus plus. And then pixels Y. You can do this. Yeah. What is it? Multiplied by X divided 4. Frame buffer Y and X. It's definitely something like this. Pixels per row. Look at that. I mean, it should be the same amount, right? Let's see. Why is this an error? Why is it not a warning? Can I just void pointer? Okay. Screen multiplied screen divided by 4. There's definitely something like that. Like this would be 0 multiplied by 0. Oh, my bad. Oh. Okay, how about like this? Pixels per row multiplied y plus x. Okay, you know, I'm not sure if I'm doing something like if I set pixels, yeah, if I set it like this, pixels and then always 0, or rather FF, something like that. Okay. So it's still not working. Because we're locking it, we unlock it, and then we have to render. The texture or not. Right, I mean they're using render copy here, but this is SDL2. Nice code formatting. Unlock texture. Maybe we don't have to render texture. Maybe that is the rendering part. Okay, didn't. SDL3, anyone? Yeah, this changed nothing. Uh-huh. 0x, yeah, whatever. And then D words. What is it? Pixels per flow? I don't remember what they were using. Oh, now I not. Now I lost the example. I guess this. Yeah, but then this is like the exact same thing I was doing almost. Then they render clear. Render preset. Oh, here it is. And then my texture height multiplied by all of that. So screen width. Yeah, not either. Like even if it is all white. And if I do render, nope. Okay. So after you lock it, can I check the documentation, see what it says? You must use to unlock the pixels and apply any changes. As an optimization, the pixels made available for editing don't necessarily contain the old texture data. This is write-only operation, and if you need to keep a copy of the texture data, you should only the application level. Texture access streaming. That's what I did, no? Oops. Streaming. Yes. A SDL rect structure representing the area to lock for access. No to lock the entire structure, the entire texture. Then pixels is filled in with pointer to the locked pixels. True on success or false if the texture is not valid. Oh, is this what was happening? So stupid. Who wrote this example? Oh god. So if I do it the same way as I was doing before. Okay. Thank you. Wait. That's not how it should look like now. Okay. Okay. Now, if I do this, I remove the pixels per row. God damn it. Okay. By the way, they were mentioning like such a crazy speed up or something. I'm getting the same FPS. Okay, so if I keep it on the front, 80, yeah, pretty much 80. Now if I do this, again on the front, so it's even worse. On the back is 100. And this is 110. Is this because I am doing this? No. It isn't. Oh well, that's disappointing. And how about if we do it the way here with SIMD instructions? So this would be like this, This is pixels plus I multiplied by 4. Yeah, so we have this part figured out. And it assumes it's 128 bits. Right, so from the very start it should be this. And then x and y would be I32x, this, y, 0, 0. Right, it's not a valid buffer. And that is because you have to do this. Okay, but it doesn't work, no? Because I can't convert it. I mean, if I convert it each frame, it's gonna be pretty bad performance, I feel like. So instead of color back, it would be pixel colors. I'm not sure if it's... Yeah, I'm not sure what it is doing under the hood. Okay, so x is... How do I calculate it the other way around? Okay. My brain is not working. So I is divided by screen height. Yeah. And then it's like the same thing. Okay, I don't know. How much time have we been streaming? Like 2 hours now? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go wake up my girlfriend. I'm gonna go get something to eat. And I'll continue the stream. Because I'm a bit tired. So... thanks for everyone that tuned in. I'll probably stream in like 1 or 2 hours. And maybe fix this thing. Anyways, thanks for watching and bye bye. See you next time.